Hey, it's Aiden Prince, and you're watching the Idle Threat Wrestling Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the show where we like our wrestling real, our sports fake, the show where we snapped into a Slim Jim and we just never snapped out. Let's get going. Well, start out again with today in wrestling history, and in 1973, on June 2nd, we tragically lost Dory Funk Sr. There wasn't a lot of other stuff I could find about what happened on this day, so we'll stick with that. I'm not going to keep you too long this week. I just kind of want to go over a few things. I've been pretty busy with stuff, editing photos, wrestling. I'm working a lot, so I just want to keep this one kind of quick. I want to go over some big plans that we got coming up for the show. We got a great interview with Impact referee Cam Adamson coming up on the show, so you want to stick around for that one. Had a great time with Cam. Had us at the Masonic Temple in Windsor, Ontario, where we're located, and it was a really good interview that I did with him. I had a lot of fun doing it, so thanks again, Cam. I guess I'll give my little bit of thoughts briefly on the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, AEW. I personally really enjoyed it. It looks like the real deal, like everything they've been talking about. They're not just a t-shirt company apparently, because that show, the production on that show, I thought, was fantastic. Had a few, complaints. I didn't actually see the pre-show because I was working till 7, so I came in, saw the pay-per-view. Going back to the Battle Royal, there were some things there, I did see it later on, some of the things in there thought could be better. The main thing really was a lot of the guys in there are guys that if you follow wrestling, and all the different, the MLW, the Indies, Impact, wherever you follow, you would understand all the characters and stuff, but a lot of explaining left out, and that's my biggest concern with Double or Nothing pay-per-view is, yeah, they really, delivered on all the fans that have been waiting for Double or Nothing. Really, couldn't really have asked for more. It lived up, I think. But as new fans coming in, they really got to work on that and remember that we all don't, not everybody follows wrestling, and it's not, it's not 1999 anymore where there's 10, 15, 20 million people watching wrestling anymore. It's around like 2 people in North America, or 2 million people in North America are watching wrestling. So if they really want to thrive and survive, they got to work on, new fans, bring in new fans. But I will say that compared to WWE, where I think they will bring in the new fans, is I think a lot of younger kids may see, the elite guys like Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, see these guys, and to me, I think they're going to be like, hey, these guys are really cool. Like, I want to see more of these guys. So I'm hoping what I think is correct, and that they do bring in, people see these guys and can see what they can do, and the matches they have are a little bit more than when you turn on Raw. We really got to see and wait till the show on Tuesday nights on TNT gets going, I think, before we can really make any judgments in that sense. But I'm really like, what I saw at the pay-per-view was, they're competitors. They're going to compete with WWE, not just, it's an alternative. I think they really have the chance of competing with them. Wrestling's not as hot, but people that I talk to, I'm like, oh, you can't touch the WWE machine. There's no, there's no stopping, but they forget, or they weren't there in, when 1995, when WWE was way down here, like the worst time it ever really was. WCW came along and them going back and forth ratings for a little while, but they brought in new fans, having the two companies go and try to outdo each other. It brought in new things, but it would be a lot to get back to that. I'm not counting on anything, but we can only hope. Favorite match for me on the pay-per-view, the Double or Nothing pay-per-view though, was Cody and Dustin Rhodes. I can't, really, that was everything you want in a story told match. Like, it was just really, really good. Like, I get, everybody's got different opinions. I don't know, a lot of people said that Lucha Bros Young Bucks style show, and that was a great match too. It really was. But in a way of, I think, storytelling and a build up to that match and the opening, the video package that they did for that, it was all done very well. And it just, I thought the thing with Cody hitting the Triple H throne there, a lot of, people were like, oh, it's on. I found it kind of corny, kind of cheesy. Cheap little pyro, the thing cracked, but it wasn't even that. They don't do what WCW would. Don't even worry about what WWE is doing. Focus on you guys. AEW, focus on you and just keep going. Because look at how Vince retaliated the next day on Raw. Didn't watch it. But I saw some of the stuff and I heard some of the things. My friend Curlis kind of filled me in. I asked him, how's Raw going tonight? And he's like, Brock Lesnar came out with a boombox and danced. I can't even make that shit up. So when he said that, I laughed that I can't make that shit up. I thought that was a really funny comment. But on Vince's credit, kind of, forget about AEW, let's keep doing. That's what Vince has always done. He's focused on him. And I know a lot of people are blaming the way the state of the WWE is. It's Vince, it's not Triple H, what he's doing is good. Okay, collectively, they need to get together and fix their problem, because I see AEW personally as a serious competitor. But like I said, I don't want to keep you too long. That's about the extent of wrestling that I've watched in the last week or so. I've been busy, like I said, with work and just other things. So hopefully this week I'll get some more wrestling time in. But I always watch old DVDs, old VHS. I'm still a VHS guy. I love VHSs. And that's bringing me to my next point. Like I said, we got some plans for the show. Maybe not this show. We're thinking of the Idol Threat Wrestling Podcast more of as a network now. We're going to have several different shows that we do. And I got a good friend named Mike Holmes. He trains at the Can-Am gym here in Windsor to be a wrestler. So they just started up this year, and or last year, been about a year. And he said he'd love to come on the show, and we're thinking about doing wrestling reviews, but they have to be on VHS. And the one we're thinking of starting with is WrestleMania 1. I got it right here. We're going to start off with, the thing that kind of boomed wrestling into the mainstream. Why not? We'll start there. So me and him are going to sit down. We're going to do that soon. But also, Mike, it was his idea. He wants us to do, and I know a lot of people do it, so hopefully we'll think of some stuff that makes us stand out more than the rest of them. But we want to do our predictions on pay-per-views. He watches WWE more than I do. I'm pretty sure he follows it pretty regularly, actually. So he'll be the one he'll have more insight on the WWE shows, but we want to predict shows for Impact as well when they do a pay-per-view. And again, when Elite Wrestling does pay-per-view, we would like to predict them, and we want to do Impact. Anybody. Any show that we think is worth standing out, that we can give our insight, and we'll have fun with it. Me and Mike will, have a contest who predicts better. Like I said, I don't watch WWE, so maybe he'll have the advantage. But you never know. I got a podcast here. I obviously know something about wrestling. That's why you're watching. You hear my opinion. So I'll do that. So that's the two kind of next things we got coming up on the Idol Threat Wrestling Podcast, or the Idol Threat Wrestling Network, as we're hoping to expand, get more people. I have other friends that I've talked to about coming on the show, as well as, we're going to keep doing the interviews. We got July 19th to July 20th, Impact returns to Windsor, and I'm hoping to get a couple interviews with a couple of the Impact guys. I already have one set up. I'm going to keep it on the down low for now, but that will be happening, and really, cool guy, and I can't say who it is. I don't want to say who it is yet, but I can't thank him enough. We talked, and the interview should be going down. That's July 19th and 20th. I can't wait for those shows to come back. I love when Impact comes to Windsor. I could travel Toronto or whatever too and see shows, but at Windsor, it's my home turf. The place is literally about 5 minutes away, St. Clair College, where they do the shows. I think the production in there looks really good, and it's just the best Impact. It's not like when you go see Raw or anything, and it's a lot of talking, a lot of segments and stuff. They are straight down to business, and we get 2 nights of tapings for four episodes of Impact on Twitch on Friday nights at 10 o'clock. And, you know, we get about, whatever, 15 matches or so. We get great wrestling. You get to see guys like Johnny Impact, Tessa Blanchard, the Lucha Bros, you know, and then we get to see the homegrown BCW guys get their chances at those shows too, and other indie guys. But, you know, we got El Reverso was on the last one, Aiden Prince. We've interviewed those guys. You've seen those guys. We'll see them again coming up. That's next month. But this month we got the Border City Wrestling has the fantastic Father's Day show on June 15th at St. Clair College, same place in the media, or the not the Mediaplex, the Sportsplex right there on the campus. Really beautiful facility there. That'll be a good show. It's a free show, and again, it's I think it starts around 2 o'clock or so, and it's free, and it's for Father's Day. Lots of other activities go on there as well, and I mean, if you got nothing to do or you want something to do on June 15th, man, come out to that. It's gonna be a good time. I'll be there. You have Aiden Prince, I think Cargo Kong's there, Cody Diener. So you get Impact guys and you get the regulars from Border City that, you know, they all put on great matches and they all try their hardest. No matter what, it doesn't matter, big show, little show, Border City Wrestling, you get quality wrestling every time. That's why they've been around for, this is year 26, and I don't see it ending anytime soon, so keep that. But let's roll to the interview with Cam Adamson. He was, he's trains in the Can-Am gym. You know, he works Border City shows, but also the Impact referee. So you see him there, you see him on national TV. It was a great interview. Thank you, Cam. So let's roll that right now. Welcome to another threatening interview on the Idol Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Idol, here today with Cam Adamson. I don't know why I'm having trouble with his name, but thanks for having us, Cam. We're here at the Masonic Temple in Windsor, Ontario, where Cam is a member. You want to tell us anything about that? Like, how long have you been a member with the Masons?
I joined, 12 years. It's always funny to think it's been that long, but yeah, 12 years.
And you came originally from Winnipeg to Windsor, and you became a member right away when you got to Windsor, or like?
About a year in. So I came to Windsor for school. I went to the University of Windsor, Faculty of Law, so go UW. And I had always planned to join Masonry and to join the Masonic Temple. And then I was wheeling down Olette Avenue, right behind us over there, and I recognized the Masonic symbol, the square and compasses with the G in the middle. And I realized I was going to be in Windsor for a little while, at least for school. So I figured it was as good a time as any. So I wrote a letter in, and 12 years later, here we are.
That's awesome. And you do, like, you're traveling a lot, you go to all the different, divisions of the Masonic temples. How's that, like?
Oh, it's terrific. I feel very, very lucky and very lucky that I'm able to travel. And when I do, if I have the time, I'm able to stop by the local Masonic temple. Because every Masonic temple is always really beautiful and really cool to check out. If it's, you know, whether it's a giant Masonic temple like the one in Philadelphia, which I got to see a little while ago, or even one like you go to a small town and it's above a corner store and a second story. It's always really, I always feel really lucky and really blessed when I'm able to visit and meet the brethren there and meet fellow Masons.
That's really cool. So like you, exploring all the different ones, which one do you think is like the coolest one you've ever seen?
Oh gosh, so I gotta say the Windsor Masonic Temple because this is home, right?
Right.
This is as much of a.
It is a really cool building.
This is probably my home away from home, as much of a home as where I do live. I was saying, you know, I stepped on these couches a few times that are over in the corners. You can't see them, but they're very comfortable, and I spend a lot of time here. So this is the one that's closest to my heart, certainly. But there's been so many terrific ones, and like I said, every one. What makes the building truly great is the people inside of it and the Masons inside of it.
Right.
So as long as I get to meet them, I'm happy.
Right. So thanks for having us here, and this is the wrestling podcast. So we're just gonna maneuver into wrestling, I guess. How did you find out about, like, were you always a fan of wrestling first? I guess I'll ask that.
I was always a fan of wrestling. I grew up watching it. I was born in '83, so I have very vague and early memories of being a big fan of Hulk Hogan and writing Hulk rules on my pencil case, or I don't remember them all. Take your vitamins, say your prayers. But I think so. I forget what they all were, but they were. Yeah, I remember writing those down. But I remember I first became like my more clear memories of being a wrestling fan was Bret Hart when he kind of became the WWF champion. That's when I grew to really love it, and I spent a lot of time, a lot of sleepovers with friends, renting the old Coliseum videos, watching those,
Of course.
wrestling around in your friends' basements, all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's when I was a child, I was a huge wrestling fan, and since then, there's been times in my life when I've been more of a fan, less of a fan, but it's definitely always been something I've been interested in and always enjoyed watching.
So you're a ref in Border City Wrestling or on Impact too, now that they're kind of one and the same almost. Like Scott is the promoter for Border City Wrestling in Windsor, and now he's working, vice president of Impact Wrestling. How did you first hear about the Can-Am school anyways, and what made you think like, yeah, I want to give that a try? And also, was it always like you knew you were going to be a ref, or are you ever planning on getting in the ring, like as a wrestler too? Like, what were you just elaborate on all that I just said? I know it was a lot of questions at once, but
nothing in my life, and I don't mean this in a negative way, nothing in my life has ever really gone according to plan. So I try not to make plans. I try to just enjoy the moment, enjoy the opportunities I get to be a part of. In terms of like, I've had so many amazing opportunities in my life that I didn't expect or didn't see coming that I wouldn't trade for anything. So my focus is doing the best I can, and I'm so honored to be part of Can-Am Wrestling School and Border City Wrestling in any capacity. Certainly if, you never know what's going to happen, so whatever comes down the road would be terrific. But just to be part of Can-Am and Border City Wrestling, and just the honor of being able to say I refed as part of Impact shows is truly an honor. It started because of a documentary I saw on Bobby the Brain Heenan, who was, when I was a child, I hated him, but I was supposed to hate him.
because he was doing his job, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I've grown to be very fond of him and the work that he did, but I can't think of who it was. Somebody on the documentary, though, said that Bobby the Brain Heenan had as good comedic timing as any stand-up comic.
Oh, for sure. It's all about timing, I think, with a lot of things, comedy as well as it can be portrayed into wrestling, and Heenan definitely had it.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you listen to some of his old, I guess it's all old now, which dates me, but his commentary, him and Gorilla Monsoon, and just the timing he had in those, when he's talking to Monsoon, he was doing his comebacks, the time they had together, they were just a great comedic duo.
And you could tell that they were really good friends in real life, which I think, even though
absolutely.
they were always arguing, that brought out the best in the both of them.
It did for sure. So yeah, so we could talk about Bobby Heenan.
All right, we could do a whole podcast on Heenan for sure.
He was definitely amazing. But so yeah, when I saw that documentary about him and I heard the stand-up comedy line, I'm somebody who loves stand-up comedy. I've had a chance to perform in stand-up comedy a bunch of times. Go to YouTube, Cameron Adamson. I'm up there.
Yeah, make you plug yourself while you want.
Cameron Adamson.
This is bro.
So so that got me thinking. Maybe it would be interesting to look at being a manager in professional wrestling. So I found Can-Am through, I believe it was Facebook. I was familiar with them, locally from shows and being a wrestling fan. I sent them a message and said I was interested in perhaps being a manager, seeing if I could help out, and then Can-Am contacted me back. I didn't realize at the time, but it was Scott Demore through the Can-Am Facebook group, said, well, come on out and train and we'll see what you can do. And that was December of 2016 is when the messages went back and forth, and then January 2017 is when I started training. And then I've been going since, and like I said, just the opportunity to be part of such an amazing school with such a good reputation
Really
is something I take a great deal of pride in. So wherever my career goes, it goes. I'm just really enjoying every moment I get.
That's awesome. What do you think has been the highlight of your reffing career so far? Like, what was a really special moment where you're like, maybe think to yourself like, hey, I'm finally here. I'm part of the show. I'm on the Impact tapings, perhaps?
Yeah, the Impact tapings were definitely a highlight and something I'm incredibly proud of. There's so many different moments that come to mind. I would say just any moment, even before I was reffing, when I was training, because originally they just needed a referee at the school. They were in practice matches, and I said I can probably ref. So I wasn't as good the first time, I was the second time, and third time, but obviously they saw something in me because they kept having me ref. But I think even before I was reffing, you know, I got a TV spot or a TV taping spot when just going to the shows and being backstage and having you know, Impact superstars, Impact wrestlers, you know, thank me for helping to put the ring together, or thank me for you know, doing whatever work needed to be done behind the scenes and being part of it and being able to say that in a very small way, I was able to assist with the TV tapings and with the show. That was something that I take a lot of pride in.
And you should, because I also help on the ring crew. I just started, and you're a guy that I always see that you're always doing something, you're always helping somebody, you know, there's no, you know, a lot of, there's people there that, you know, they just kind of hang out, they try not to do very little, but you are always involved, and you're always doing lots of stuff. So I can see them appreciating that, because I think people see the effort that you really put into helping out with the shows.
That's very kind to say.
You're a guy who's always there. I've seen it where we've had to unload the ring crew and there's, you know, 4 guys show up, but you're always one of the guys that show up.
I mean, same could applies to you. I've seen you help out a lot, and I mean, full days in Toronto, you know, you're talking 12, 13, 14-hour days from when you get there to setting up, to then tearing down, to then taking the ring back to the school.
Thanks very much, too.
It's, yeah, and it's one of those things where you definitely get, you know, you get tired as the day goes, but you get to say that you're, you know, you're part of something that entertains people. And I think one thing I never realized, I realized it kind of in the back of my mind, but you never really thought about it, is just how much work actually goes into putting on high quality wrestling shows. From the wrestlers themselves, to the people behind the scenes, to the people setting up the ring, to the cameramen, to just everything.
It's true. I think a lot of people don't know what it's like, but you get that. Like, say we were in Toronto, we were at Rebellion, there's what, 50, 60 indie guys all show up to help. Maybe not that many, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there's a ton of guys there, and it's all day. We're setting up the ring, we're doing this, we're taping the ropes, we're, you know, taping bleachers, whatever it has to be. And then you look, the wrestlers are, when call time happens, say it's at 1 o'clock, they come in and they're in the ring and they're going over their match and thinking of everything all day, right up until the show. Like, a lot goes into putting on a wrestling show.
So much goes into putting on a wrestling show. Like you said, you know, the, you know, wrestlers of Border City Wrestling, the wrestlers of Impact Wrestling, are so good at their job, or so good at what they do, they make it look easy. But just like you said too, they're there at call time, going over their match, getting ready. They are working so hard too. You don't realize, I think so much of what wrestling is, that people see the physicality of it, people see the athleticism of it, which there's no question that they're top-notch athletes, they're in top-notch shape. But so much of wrestling is going on up here. And that's, I think, something people don't realize. Planning out a match, planning out a show, putting a show together. So much, you know, it's the real estate between your ears. I mean, you know, professional wrestlers, promoters, the people behind the scenes, they are not only some of the most athletically gifted people I've ever met, but they are some of the smartest people I've ever met.
It's true.
They really understand how to tell a story, how to put something together. I remember one of the biggest lessons I ever learned in professional wrestling was very early on, maybe 2 months in. I found out I could do a move from the top rope, which I thought was really cool. So I showed it to my coach or whatever, and my coach said, yeah, that's cool, but why would you do it?
Right.
And I said, well, because it's cool. And he said, well, that doesn't mean anything in a match. Like, why would you do it? When would you do it? What leads up to it? That was something that really struck with me, and it's something I've carried on to my whole life. One of the lessons from professional wrestling I think I've taken with me to all other aspects of my life, whether it's in masonry, whether it's my job, whether it's my volunteer activities. It's not just about doing something, it's about why you're doing something. And so that's just, yeah, so in terms of the shows and what we talked about, like, they always understand why they're doing something, why the ring has to look a certain way, why the bleachers have to be a certain way, why the match should be a certain way. And that's something that I carry with me.
That's really good. That's a lot of good points there. I gotta bring up something though, because you're being part of Impact and the ring crew brought you recently to the legendary ECW arena, the 2300 arena. Can you share a little bit of that? How was that? That's a bucket list for me. I want to get there eventually.
It was absolutely amazing just to be in the arena, in a place with such history, and to be such an important part of, really not just, you know, it's an important part of ECW history, but it's an important part of professional wrestling history, is what it is. So it's just an honor to be there. And like I said, to be there as somebody who could offer assistance and could offer help. You know, and that is just, you know, to be able to go there, I decided to go there because I knew they were doing TV tapings for 2 days. So I was able to go up on the Saturday and just offer my services and say whatever help you need, I'm happy to do so. Like I said, just, you know, it's one of those things where everybody's busy, right? Everybody's got so much on the go, certainly professional wrestlers in training, or referees in training. We've always got something going on, but to be at that arena, to just take a few moments to look around and go, you know, this is the home of the Tommy Dreamers and the Sandmans, and this is, you know, and I'm here as somebody who's offering something, even a very small thing, right? Even if it's just, in my case, it was making sure the floor mats were taped down properly, making sure the bungee cords were set up properly. To have something to offer and to have people say thank you in such a historic venue is a real honor.
That's really awesome. I hope I get there someday at the ECW arena. Trying to think, what would take, like, what really made you go from, like, you took law, like you said, when you came, to, now, that was what, 2006, you said? To now, like, you've been in Windsor all these years, and then now you're into wrestling. Like, how did that, just being a fan, was that really just it? Like,
Just being a fan.
You just wanted to school with something you thought, like, I could do that, maybe, whatever. Like you said, you don't like to plan things ahead. You said you kind of just like to, as you go along, but is it your dream to be involved in a match on like a big caliber show? Like last night was the Double or Nothing, and in the Battle Royal there was, I think Dustin Thomas is his name, and he is also a wrestler with no legs. Is that something you could see yourself doing, or would you really want to do?
It'd be an honor to be involved in a match as a wrestler. It's an honor to be involved in a match as a referee. So we'll see where it goes. I am training to, you know, I'm training as everybody else does at the school. So working on the cardio, taking the bumps, working on the moves. Some moves have to be modified depending on what they are. But you know, that's when you think about, okay, why do you want to do something? That helps you figure out how do you modify it so it works in my situation or in Dustin's situation. It's so, yeah, knock on wood. We'll see. It'd be a real honor it's a real honor to be part of wrestling in any capacity. Certainly that would include being a professional wrestler. But, you know, like I said earlier, so many things have not gone the way I planned, but have still worked out better than I could have hoped. I mean, so for the original plan was to be a lawyer.
Right.
I went to law school and I graduated in '09, and I had a job lined up with actually a family law firm. But, so I did my articles first, which is like an apprenticeship thing you have to do in order to become a lawyer licensed. I did that. I hadn't taken my bar exams yet. So they said, all right, we'll hire you on, but you have to take the bar exams and pass them. So sure enough, I failed the solicitor's exam, which was not part of the plan at all. Right? So that job fell through. But in the process of that, a friend of mine told me to look into probation and parole, which I never knew what that was. It's part of corrections. But long story short, I applied for that. I got the job. I found out I was actually really, really good at it, better than I thought I would be, or at least I think I was very good at it. Did that, then I ended up working at in corrections at the Southwest Detention Center. And through that, I've made, you know, amazing friends, and I've made, you know, I've been part of something I'm really proud of. But none of that would have happened if things had gone to plan. if I had passed that bar exam, right? Subsequently, just so the Law Society is watching, I did retake it because my thinking was I'll be, you know, probation pro for 5 months or something, then I'll go back to being a lawyer, but I found out I liked it so much. Even when I passed the bar exam, so I could have my license, I decided to stay there. So, you know, that, and if I had become a lawyer, who knows if I would have even signed up for professional wrestling school at all, because maybe I'd be so busy as a lawyer.
You wouldn't have time for it.
Wouldn't have time for this, so it's it. You never know where things are going to go or how they're going to turn out. I'm just trying to take the time to enjoy, you know, the incredible opportunities I have.
I think that's the best way to look at things too. So I'm gonna let you promote and plug anything that you want to plug before we wrap up the interview here. Let everybody know on the internets.
Hey, internets. Gosh, there's plenty of stuff to promote. I mean, myself, if you want to type Cameron Adamson into YouTube, my stand-up comedy pops up. It's not that impressive. It'd be impressive if like you typed in funniest comedian ever and I popped up. But you just gotta type my name in, Cameron Adamson, and it pops up. And then I'd say the biggest things coming up just for Windsor, for wrestling fans, which I know a lot of you are, you know, we got the TV tapings for Impact Wrestling coming up July 19th and July 20th at St. Clair College. Those are always amazing shows, right? And you've helped multiple times set up, and you can let them know too. They're just terrific shows. We've got
For $30 for both nights, general admission, you're gonna get your money's worth. You know, pay a ton of money at some of the bigger shows for, you get not hardly any wrestling, a lot of talk, maybe on the Raw or something. The Impact tapings are just wrestling. Basically, you're gonna get all wrestling for $30 the whole weekend.
Oh yeah, so you gotta check it. It's like you said, it's one of the best values you're gonna get one of the best values you can get for your buck, that's for sure. Border City Wrestling has got some awesome shows coming up, right? We got Father's Day show on June 15th, and then we've got Essex Fun Fair on July 7th. Definitely check those shows
And
out.
those are free, right? Those both of them are free shows?
Yes.
Yeah. So if $30 is too much for you, you know, get out to the is that the WFCU Center or the Sportsplex?
So the Father's Day show is at the Sportsplex.
At St. Clair College.
At St. Clair College. And then, I'm not sure, I mean, Essex is not that big of a town, so wherever the Essex Fun Fair is, whenever you see a big, what are those things called? No, I can't think of it. And they go around in circles. They're at fairs. Ferris wheel.
Oh, Ferris wheel, right.
You see a Ferris wheel, we'll probably be there. It's like
There'll be some wrestling there. And me and you will be there for sure.
I'm sure. And then, you know, it's a little ways away, a couple hours north, but Ultimate Championship Wrestling is usually up in the Bay City area. They're having some shows in Flint. I get to be a part of that. So it's a really cool promotion, which I encourage everybody to check out.
They got any shows coming up?
Yes, the next show is July 6th, if I recall correctly, which is the Saturday. So check out, you know, there's so much great wrestling right now for all the wrestling fans out there. But especially if you are lucky enough to live in Windsor, because this is a great town. I don't think people will give it near enough credit. So if you're lucky enough to live in Windsor and you're a wrestling fan, you know, you've got Border City Wrestling, you've got Impact. And you've got Impact, you know, even Toronto's only 4 hours away.
Yeah, all around southwestern Ontario lately, there's been a lot of, like, I've interviewed, you know, Phil Atlas and Aiden Prince, and there's like talks of Border Town Wrestling, PWA Wrestling, Crossfire, Crossbody.
Battle Arts, there's Smash.
There's so much, and like, it's a really good time to be a wrestling fan right now, wherever you are. I think, like,
I agree completely,
it's
yeah.
on its way back up, I think.
But it's better to be from Windsor. Go Windsor. Not that I don't love my old Winnipeg, you're great too, but I'm very fond of this town, so.
Yeah, me too. So for the Idle Threat Wrestling Podcast, Threatening Interviews, I'm Joey Idle, your host as always. This has been Cam Adamson. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. Alright, that was my interview with Cam Adamson, a referee from Impact, and thanks again, Cam. I can't thank you. And thanks for putting me over in that interview as a hard worker too. I really appreciate that. Me and my buddy Rob had a good laugh about that on the way home, that I was put over, so thank you very much. And So I'll bring us to, our recurring segment. I like doing it, I like finding stuff for it, but yeah, tell me he didn't just say that.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
I'm not dropping my pants in front of other men, but go ahead.
Well, how'd you get the job?
Leave it to Roddy Piper to get that zinger in. We always have the wrestlers kind of putting their foots in their mouths on, tell me he didn't just say that. So I thought, why not get Bill Maher kind of trying to be a smart mouth with the ultimate smart mouth, Roddy Piper. So that's going to do it this week for the Idle Threat Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for joining us as always. Snap out of your Slim Jim now and do what you got to do. I will see you next time.